7 levels of darkest universes in fiction. Level 1. The glamorous apocalypse. The Hunger Games. Welcome to Pan Am, where dystopia wears designer clothes and the apocalypse has a marketing team. The Hunger Games presents us with a world that's found the perfect formula for totalitarian control. Turn atrocity into entertainment. This isn't darkness that hides in shadows. It's darkness that sparkles under studio lights. What makes this universe uniquely disturbing is its self-awareness. The Capitol doesn't just kill children. It produces their deaths with cinematography, sponsors, and pre-game interviews. They've weaponized spectacle itself. Every rose garden, every gilded costume, every decadent feast exists in direct opposition to the suffering that funds it. The people of the Capitol aren't ignorant of the horror. They're complicit in it, choosing champagne and fashion over basic human empathy. The true genius of this darkness is how it mirrors our own reality. We live in a world of carefully curated content, where tragedy becomes trending topics and suffering gets packaged for consumption. Pan Am took our worst tendencies and turned them into government policy. The Hunger Games asks a terrifying question. What if we became so numb to violence that we demanded it for entertainment? What if dystopia didn't look like rubble and ruins, but like reality television? This is darkness dressed in sequins, horror with a smile, and control disguised as choice. It's the kind of world that makes you uncomfortable because you can see exactly how we'd get there. Level 2. The Rotting City. The Batman, 2022. Step into Gotham and you can feel the moisture in the air, see the mold creeping up the walls, smell the corruption that seeped into every brick and board. This isn't the stylized comic book city of previous adaptations. This is a place that feels lived in, broken, and beyond saving. Matt Reeves' Gotham is a character unto itself, a city so thoroughly compromised that even its heroes are consumed by it. Bruce Wayne isn't a playboy billionaire having fun with gadgets. He's a traumatized recluse using vengeance as therapy. The Riddler isn't a campy puzzle master. He's a domestic terrorist radicalized by institutional failure. Every character in this world has been shaped, warped, and damaged by the environment they inhabit. What elevates this darkness is its realism. There's no alien invasion here, no supernatural threat. Just corruption, poverty, violence, and the cycles they create. The rain never stops falling because Gotham's sins can never be washed away. The darkness is literal and metaphorical. Power outages and moral blackouts happening simultaneously. The most unsettling aspect? This Gotham exists. Maybe not in total, but in pieces scattered across real cities. The systemic corruption, the hopelessness, the thin line between vigilante and criminal. These aren't fantasy elements. They're headlines. The Batman reminds us that you don't need to imagine dystopia when you can just turn on the news. Sometimes the darkest universes are the ones that feel like they're just one economic collapse away from your own. Level 3. The corpse economy. The Walking Dead. The dead rose, and humanity fell. But not because of the zombies, because of each other. The Walking Dead universe strips away civilization's comfortable lies and asks, what are we without our systems, our laws, our illusions of morality? The answer is disturbing. We become tribal, paranoid, and brutal. We form communities built on the bones of other communities. We make impossible choices and rationalize them as survival. The walkers shambling in the background are just set dressing. The real horror is watching people abandon their humanity piece by piece, justifying each atrocity as necessary. What makes this universe particularly dark is its inevitability. Every safe haven crumbles. Every moment of hope gets crushed. Every person who clings to their moral compass either abandons it or dies. The message is clear. Empathy is a luxury the apocalypse can't afford. Civilization wasn't a natural state. It was a fragile agreement that dissolved the moment resources became scarce. This is nihilism as survival strategy. The world didn't end with the zombie virus. It ended with the realization that we were always one catastrophe away from becoming monsters ourselves. The corpse economy isn't about the dead consuming the living. It's about the living consuming each other while wearing the costume of survival. Hope isn't just scarce here, it's actively punished. Trust is weakness. Compassion is a death sentence. Level 4. The Fallout Dream. Fallout War. War never changes, but everything else does, usually into twisted mutations of its former self. The Fallout universe is what happens when humanity's worst impulses meet nuclear fire, and somehow, impossibly, absurdly, life continues. Here's where darkness gets complicated, because Fallout wraps its horror in a distinctive aesthetic. The cheerful optimism of 1950s Americana melted into radioactive slag. Vault Boy grins his eternal grin, while advertising perks that help you dismember enemies more efficiently. The radio plays upbeat jazz while you navigate a landscape of failed utopias and mutated nightmares. The true darkness of Fallout isn't the bombs, it's what came before. Vault-Tec, the corporation entrusted with saving humanity, turned salvation into the largest unethical experiment in history. Entire vaults were designed to torture, manipulate, and destroy their inhabitants, all in the name of data collection. The apocalypse wasn't a tragedy. It was an opportunity. The bombs were just the beginning. This universe asks a chilling question. What if the people in charge weren't incompetent, but malicious? What if survival wasn't the goal, but control? The wasteland is filled with the remnants of pre-war society, and every advertisement, every preserved storefront, every propaganda poster is a reminder that the world didn't stumble into nuclear war. It marched toward it with open eyes and profit margins. Fallout's darkness is retrospective. The horror isn't just what the world became. It's what it always was, now stripped of pretense. Level 5. The Digital Prison. The Matrix. You think you're reading this right now. You think you're making choices. You think you're free. The Matrix asks, but what if you're not? This is existential horror at its finest. A universe where the nightmare isn't that you're trapped, but that you're comfortable in your cage. The Matrix doesn't torture humanity, it anesthetizes it. Every simulated sunset, every fake relationship, every digital stake is a distraction from the truth. You're a battery, your entire existence fuel for machines that farm humans like cattle. What makes this darkness so profound is its philosophical weight. The machines didn't destroy humanity. They preserved it in the worst way possible. They offered a deal. Give us your reality, and we'll give you pleasant dreams. And humanity, exhausted by consciousness, took the deal. The blue pill isn't just ignorance, it's the active choice of comfortable delusion over painful truth. The Matrix universe suggests that the greatest prison is one you don't want to escape. Why fight for freedom when slavery comes with air conditioning and all the experiences your mind can simulate? The darkness here is psychological, wrapped in the terrifying possibility that most people, given the choice, would choose the simulation. This is horror disguised as contentment, slavery marketed as paradise. The machines didn't defeat humanity through violence. They won by making reality irrelevant. And the most disturbing part? In a world of increasing digital immersion and virtual spaces, we're building our own matrix, one download at a time. Level 6. The Corporate God World. Cyberpunk 2077/Blade Runner. Neon lights flicker in the rain, reflecting off puddles of oil and blood. Welcome to a future where capitalism didn't just win, it consumed everything else. In the cyberpunk universe, corporations aren't businesses. They're nations, religions, and gods rolled into one chrome-plated package. This is a world where you can upgrade your body but not your life, where immortality is for sale, but dignity isn't included. People live in literal shadow cast by corporate towers that scrape clouds and scrape humanity even harder. Your memories can be extracted, your personality can be copied, your soul, if such a thing even exists here, can be transferred, traded, and discarded. The darkness of cyberpunk isn't subtle. It's neon-lit and advertised on every street corner. Corporations run private armies. Your thoughts might be company property. The divide between human and machine grows thinner every day, and with it, the question of what makes us human becomes increasingly uncomfortable. But the real horror is the normalization. People in Night City or Blade Runner's Los Angeles don't rage against the machine. They upgrade themselves to join it. Rebellion is an aesthetic choice, not a political stance. Everyone's for sale. The only question is the price point. This universe represents darkness as a lifestyle choice, dystopia as fashion. It's not that humanity lost, it's that humanity changed the definition of winning. When you can replace every part of yourself, what's left? When corporations control not just your labor but your very existence, what freedom remains? The cyberpunk universe answers. Not much, but at least the aesthetic is killer. Level 7. The Eternal War. Reality. Warhammer 40K. In the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war. This is it. The final level. The absolute nadir of darkness in fiction. Warhammer 40,000 isn't just dark. It's darkness crystallized into religion, weaponized into ideology, and stretched across an entire galaxy for 10,000 years. The Imperium of Man is a fascist theocracy spanning 1,000,000 worlds, powered by the suffering of countless billions. They worship a corpse emperor, sustained by the daily sacrifice of 1,000 psychic souls. They exterminate entire planets, not as punishment, but as policy. They turn humans into mindless servitors, lobotomized and wired into machines. They condemn trillions to live in hive cities, where they'll never see sunlight, breathing recycled air and eating recycled nutrients that may or may not contain their predecessors. And the Imperium? They're the good guys. The universe of 40K is designed around total, perpetual, meaningless conflict. Chaos consumes souls eternally. The Tyranids devour biomass across galaxies. The Orcs exist solely for war. The Necrons want to end all life. Even the supposedly noble Eldar are dying, their souls food for a god they accidentally birthed through excess. There is no hope in this universe, literally. Hope is heresy. Optimism is corruption. The future doesn't get better, it gets darker. Every victory is temporary. Every hero is eventually corrupted or killed. Every world that doesn't burn today will burn tomorrow. What makes 40K the darkest fictional universe is its scale and its certainty. This isn't a world that might end. It's a world that can't end, condemned to eternal suffering. Death isn't release, it's transformation into worse torment. Gods exist, and they feed on pain. The only mercy is that you're too insignificant for the universe to notice your suffering specifically. This is nihilism as gospel, grimdark as atmosphere, and suffering as the default state of existence. In the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war, and that's the best-case scenario. If you made it through all 7 levels without needing a hug or an antidepressant, congratulations. You're either extremely resilient or you need to watch more Disney movies. These universes remind us that darkness in fiction serves a purpose. It helps us process our fears, examine our flaws, and maybe, just maybe, appreciate the light a little more. Which level hit you hardest? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this descent into fictional despair, hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the stories that haunt us. Thanks for watching, and remember, it's all just fiction. Probably.